The year is 480 BC. A massive Persian army over 1 million strong marches toward Greece. Standing in their way at a narrow mountain pass called Thermopylae are just 300 Spartan warriors led by King Leonidas. The Persians sent a messenger with an offer. "Surrender your weapons." Leonidas replied with 2 words: "Come and take them." For 3 days, 300 Spartans held off an army of 1 million. The battle became the most legendary last stand in human history. You've seen the movie. You know the story. But Hollywood changed almost everything. The truth is even more incredible. This is the real story of Leonidas and the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae. And it starts not with the battle, but with the question, how did Sparta create the most feared warriors who ever lived? To understand the 300, you must understand Sparta. This wasn't a normal city. Sparta was a warrior society unlike anything the world had ever seen. From birth, Spartan boys were inspected by elders. Weak or sickly infants were left on a mountainside to die. Only the strong survived. At age 7, boys were taken from their families and placed in the Agoge, Sparta's brutal military training program. For the next 13 years, they learned one thing: how to fight. They were deliberately underfed to teach them to steal food. If caught, they were beaten. Not for stealing, but for getting caught. They slept on beds made of reeds. They gathered themselves with their bare hands. They trained barefoot in all weather. They were taught to speak with few words, giving us the term laconic from Laconia, Sparta's region. At age 20, Spartan men joined the army. They weren't allowed to live with their wives until age 30. The military was everything. Spartan warriors fought in a formation called the phalanx. Soldiers stood shoulder to shoulder, shields overlapping, spears pointing forward, creating an impenetrable wall of bronze and iron. The phalanx required absolute discipline and trust. If one man broke formation, the entire line collapsed. Spartans never broke formation. They were trained from childhood that death was preferable to retreat. Spartan mothers told their sons before battle, "Come back with your shield or on it," meaning return victorious or return dead. There was no third option. This was the culture that produced Leonidas. Born around 540 BC, Leonidas was a prince of Sparta, but not the heir. He had 2 older brothers. Like all Spartan boys, he entered the Agoge at 7 and endured the same brutal training as every other warrior. He wasn't expected to become king, but fate had other plans. His oldest brother died without an heir. His second brother was accused of treason and fled Sparta. Around 490 BC, Leonidas became king of Sparta at approximately age 50. He had spent his entire life as a warrior. Now he would lead warriors.
I am just getting started. He trains harder than any man here, yet he knows his place.
A useful dog, perhaps, but still just a dog.
They dared to defy the Persian Empire. We will burn Athens to the ground. Prepare the fleet.
Forward, men! Hold the line! They break! Push them to the sea!
The Empire is yours now, my son. Rule with wisdom.
Meanwhile, far to the east, the Persian Empire was growing. Persia was the superpower of the ancient world, controlling an empire that stretched from India to Egypt. The Persian king Darius I wanted to add Greece to his empire. In 490 BC, Persia invaded Greece. At the Battle of Marathon, a small force of Athenians defeated the Persians against incredible odds. Persia retreated, but everyone knew they would return. Darius died in 486 BC. His son Xerxes inherited the throne, and his father's obsession with conquering Greece. Xerxes spent 4 years preparing the largest invasion force the ancient world had ever seen. Ancient sources claim Xerxes assembled an army of over 1 million soldiers, though modern historians estimate between 100,000 and 300,000. Either way, it was massive, far larger than anything Greece could field. The Persian army included soldiers from across the empire. Persians, Medes, Egyptians, Indians, and dozens of other nations. They brought cavalry, archers, and even war elephants. Xerxes himself watched from a golden throne as his endless pools of soldiers marched toward Greece. The Persian fleet included over 1,000 warships. Greece had never faced anything like this. The Greek city-states held an emergency council. Most wanted to abandon northern Greece and defend only the south. But Leonidas saw an opportunity. There was a place where terrain could neutralize Persia's numbers. Thermopylae. Thermopylae, meaning hot gates because of nearby hot springs, was a narrow coastal pass between mountains and the sea. At its narrowest point, the pass was only 50 feet wide. A small force could hold that choke point against a much larger army. Leonidas proposed making a stand there. The council agreed, but wouldn't commit their full armies. Greece was celebrating a religious festival, and many city-states refused to send troops. During the Holy Period, Leonidas was given permission to take only his personal bodyguard, 300 Spartan warriors. But the 300 weren't chosen randomly. Leonidas selected only men who had living sons. He knew this was a suicide mission. He wanted to ensure that if these 300 died, they would leave behind sons to continue their bloodlines. The 300 Spartans marched north to Thermopylae. Along the way, other Greek city-states contributed soldiers. By the time they reached Thermopylae, the Greek force numbered around 7,000 men total. But the core, the elite warriors who would hold the line, were the 300 Spartans. When Xerxes arrived at Thermopylae and saw the small Greek force, he couldn't believe they intended to fight. He sent a scout to observe them. The scout reported something strange. The Spartans were exercising and combing their hair. Xerxes was confused. A Greek advisor explained, "Spartans prepare their hair before battle when they are preparing to die." Xerxes sent a messenger offering the Greeks a chance to surrender. The message was simple: hand over your arms. Leonidas sent back his famous reply, "Mal and Lab, come and take them." Xerxes waited 4 days expecting the Greeks to flee. They didn't move. On the 5th day, Xerxes attacked. He sent wave after wave of soldiers into the narrow pass. The Spartans, fighting in perfect phalanx formation, slaughtered them. The Persians couldn't use their numbers in the narrow space. Only a few soldiers could fight at the front line at any time, and those soldiers faced the greatest warriors in the world. Persian soldiers were pushed forward by those behind them, forced into the Spartan spears. Bodies piled up, the Persians retreated. Xerxes sent in the Immortals, his elite troops, 10,000 of Persia's finest warriors. The Immortals had never been defeated. They charged into the pass with absolute confidence. The Spartans destroyed them. The Immortals broke and fled. Xerxes reportedly jumped from his throne 3 times in horror as he watched his best troops routed by this tiny Greek force.
Break the wall! Hold the line! Push forward! Steady!
Push forward! Do not retreat! Into the breach!
My lord, the army is broken. They flee!
Flee! Impossible! They are immortals! How can this be?
Attack! Show no mercy! Hold the line! Stand your ground! They flee!
The first day ended with thousands of Persians dead and 0 ground gained. On the 2nd day, Xerxes tried again. More waves of attackers, more Persian corpses. The Greeks held. Leonidas rotated his forces, keeping the 300 Spartans fresh while allowing allied troops to rest. The phalanx was impenetrable. The Persians couldn't break through. But Xerxes had one advantage: information. A Greek traitor named Ephialtes approached the Persian camp. He revealed a secret. There was a mountain path that led around Thermopylae. For a price, he would show the Persians the way. Xerxes sent the Immortals, now rebuilt after their defeat, along with thousands of troops up the mountain path under cover of darkness. Leonidas had stationed 1,000 Phocian Greeks to guard that path. But when the Persians attacked at dawn, the Phocians retreated to high ground instead of holding the path. The Persians were now behind the Greek lines. Leonidas received word the Persians had flanked them. The Greeks were about to be surrounded. Leonidas made a decision. He ordered most of the Greek allies to retreat and escape while they still could. About 6,000 Greeks fled south. Leonidas and the 300 Spartans stayed. Along with them stayed about 700 Thespians, who refused to abandon the Spartans, and 400 Thebans. Roughly 1,400 Greeks in total chose to stay and face certain death. On the third day, knowing they would die, the 300 Spartans fought with even greater fury. Ancient accounts say they advanced beyond the narrow pass, taking the fight to open ground because they knew they were going to die anyway, and wanted to kill as many Persians as possible. They fought until their spears broke, then they fought with swords. When their swords broke, they fought with their hands and teeth. Leonidas fell in the fighting. The Spartans formed a circle around his body, defending their fallen king, even as they themselves were cut down. The Persians finally overwhelmed them, not through combat, but through sheer numbers and arrow fire. They surrounded the last Spartans and shot them down with arrows from a distance because getting close meant death. The last Spartan standing was a warrior named Aristodemus.
My king!
He'd been sent away before the final battle because of an eye infection. When he returned to Sparta alive, he was shamed as a coward for surviving when his brothers died. A year later at the Battle of Plataea, Aristodemus fought with such suicidal fury, seeking an honorable death, that his fellow Spartans said he had redeemed himself. Every single one of the 300 Spartans died at Thermopylae.
The sun rises on the final day. Leonidas puts on his helmet for the last time.
Eat well, for tonight we dine in Hades. For Sparta, to victory! For Sparta, show them no mercy! Push forward! Hold the line! Push them back to the sea! To the king! Form the circle! Push back!
They pushed the Persians back 4 times.
They are behind us! Face about! Prepare for glory! Hold the line! For Sparta! For Greece! Advance, cowards! They are already dead! Push forward!
We cannot, Commander. They are demons, not men.
Xerxes was so enraged by his losses that he ordered Leonidas's body beheaded and crucified, a profound dishonor in Greek culture. But Leonidas had achieved his goal. The 300 bought Greece time. The delay at Thermopylae allowed Athens to evacuate its citizens and prepare its navy. A few months later, at the Battle of Salamis, the Greek fleet destroyed the Persian navy. The following year, at the Battle of Plataea, the Greek armies crushed the Persian land forces. Xerxes retreated to Persia, his invasion a failure. Greece remained free. Western civilization was saved. After the war, the Greeks erected a monument at Thermopylae with an inscription written by the poet Simonides. Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. The 300 Spartans became legend. Their sacrifice inspired Greece. Their story has echoed through 2,500 years of history. Military academies still study Thermopylae. The term Spartan still means disciplined, tough, and fearless. Leonidas's reply, Molin Lab, is still used as a symbol of resistance against tyranny. The movie 300 made them famous again for a new generation, but the movie changed many details. The real 300 weren't fighting alone. They had about 7,000 allies. At first, the Spartans didn't wear capes and fight shirtless. They wore heavy bronze armor. The hunchback Ephialtes probably wasn't deformed as shown in the film. And Xerxes wasn't a giant with piercings. He was a normal-sized Persian king. But Hollywood got the spirit right. 300 warriors willing to die to protect their home, facing impossible odds without fear, holding the line when anyone else would have run. That part was true. The Battle of Thermopylae teaches a lesson that transcends time. Courage and sacrifice can change history. Numbers don't always win. Sometimes a small group of people willing to stand their ground can accomplish what armies cannot. The 300 Spartans proved that the willingness to die for something greater than yourself can inspire millions. Their stand at Thermopylae didn't just save Greece, it preserved the birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and Western thought. If Persia had conquered Greece, the world would be different. There might be no democracy, no Olympics, no philosophy from Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. King Leonidas and the 300 Spartans knew they would die. They went anyway. They held the line. And 2,500 years later, we still remember their names. What other stories has history tried to bury? Subscribe to Ancient Echoes and discover the heroes the world forgot.
This better be the way you promised, Greek.
It is. They won't know we are coming until it is too late.
Now, the gold!
But what is the true nature of justice, my friends? Is it merely the interest of the stronger, or does it possess a higher, more divine quality?